offering my unconditional surrender at the lotus feet of beloved Guru Shiva Balayogi. I greet you all once again with my love and blessings. When you just watch, you are trying to become independent. Otherwise, you see, you are unable to stop the stress, you are unable to stop the pain, unable to stop the fear. You can stop all this in your mind only due to imagination. And do not misunderstand. I am not telling you not to bother about the world. You don't have to be insensitive about this world. What I am trying to tell, simply by worrying, you cannot help anybody. When you don't worry, when you are perfectly all right, then you can help as many as you can, as many as they come to you, like we are able to help without ourselves getting affected.
In the spiritual world, the term the self is used a lot, such as self-realization, know thyself, and it will set you free. What is meant by the self? How would you explain that?
Before the actual merger, till then, in your consciousness, you have a constant feeling of I existing. That which is give you a criteria that it is you in this worldly language. So this is also used for sake of communication and understanding only, because you see, in this world, I is the most important thing. Everything is done for sake of I, for me. For me only, I need things which are going to be mine, so that I can feel secure. So that's how this meaning goes. So because this feeling has this I, so these words have been used. Self-realization is the nearest, in Sanskrit also, Atma Sakshatkar is the most ancient word used. Then other terminologies people have used other own, like know thyself, know yourself, anything. See, but know yourself can give a different meaning, that you can write a definition of what you are. Whereas the I is totally beyond any such recognition or definition.
So, but that I is temporary, you've said, because in Nirvikalpa Samadhi, that I merges back into the Brahman, into eternal existence. And
Yeah, till then, this imagination about that truth is the I. Just like now, for a while, imagination about yourself is mind. So then we try to define the mind on realizing the self, that the mind is made up of consciousness and energy. And this consciousness gives rise to the I existence, consciousness of existence. That's what another sentence I found very nearest imagination to give a clue to the student of what it is.
okay, so when they refer to jiva in Sanskrit, would that be the I that's identified with being a separate individual existence, a body and a mind?
Yeah, it is somewhat the droplet has come out of the ocean, and that droplet is thinking that everything is itself and everything it imagines. It wants to own the ocean also, in fact. So that type of thinking, that is what is Jiva. Jivatma is the individual imagined self, which is a small microspec things. And the ultimate truth is the Paramatma, Supreme Being. There is nothing else further than that exists. So that has to be all pervading. Only then that can be the supreme, the most powerful, or any such thing. First point, that it has to be all pervaded. The rest all has to be within that all pervadedness. That is Supreme Being.
Is that also referred to as the self with the capital S?
Yes.
Baba, it occurred to me the other day that sadhana is, in spiritual practice, is really about managing your attention. Because, you know, the saying that you become like what you put your attention on. You put your attention just on the world and you know only what's in the mind. You only know what's impermanent. But then you try to meditate, hold your mind still, and then eventually you become aware of the consciousness, and that individual consciousness merges into universal consciousness. And so it's really this thing, what is the attention? Because it seems to be wherever you put your attention, you become conscious of that, but yet the mind directs it. Something's directing it. You know, if I want to see something, I think, oh, I'm going to look over there, and I direct my consciousness or my awareness over there, and then I become knowledgeable of that. But so there's the mind involved, but there's also the consciousness involved too. And then at some point, the mind drops out of the picture and only the consciousness is left.
It is the unhappiness which directs you to find the happiness, basically. So that's when everybody is looking for that. They start looking, they cannot keep quiet. They are not going to sit on a chair. Everything is fine. Though they might talk to friends that they are fine, but they are not fine. They keep looking. They want happiness. This is what induces a person to look for that happiness. Like I keep telling, mind does not stop with any of the objects. Even it becomes the emperor of the entire universe, it's not going to stop wanting to own more, wanting to have more happiness. Anything else, it keeps on looking whether anything else is there which can give a higher or more happiness. So that's what makes until then, I also tell that the mind is looking for the same happiness which it had enjoyed by remaining in the self-awareness. This is one of the basic things which makes a person to go in search, in quest.
It's beautiful. Thank you, Baba.
Hi, Baba. It's such a pleasure to see you every week. It's ecstatic. Constantly in meditation, I'm reviewing, I'm going over all my bad karma and what I was born into. And if only I could have changed it. But of course, now it's being changed. So my question is that reviewing can't be imagination, can it?
It is.
Still is.
During meditation, when you review also, it is through imagination only.
But it's true.
Imagination is true. Mind imagines. Mind imagines. When it imagines, everything appears as true. The past exists only in your memory. So when you try to review, you try to recall what happened. It is in your imagination. Within your mind only you recall what all happened. You cannot call anything in the space. You cannot just wave so that a scenario appears. Just like nowadays the advanced computer technology, in some movies, a person makes like this and the scene appears there. So it's not like that. It's imagination. You need to overcome that imagination. You will be able to see the truth of existence, which will really give you supreme peace. And then you won't need to recall about what happened in life at all. It will appear very insignificant.
As I observe myself every day, I say, oh my God, I would have done it this way in the past, but now I'm doing it this way.
Whatever has happened, happened. At least now you take care that you don't allow such things to happen. You just look for your peace and your real self. God bless you.
Thank you, Baba.
Today, when I was meditating towards the end, I felt like somebody was blowing into my left ear, like that. But I didn't feel any air, only the sound. And after a little while, I started feeling dizzy, like I was losing orientation. But then I stabilized again. So I don't know what to make out of this, but it was weird.
So this could be the energy movement that gives such a feeling of a sound effect, as if somebody is blowing, whereas it is from within only. Your own energy is blowing like that. Whenever the mind has become more concentrated, such an experience can occur, but you just have to watch, just ignore the analyzation of what it is, what to make out. You don't have to make out anything. You are on the right path, everything is all right. Just try to focus and achieve more single pointedness. More such experiences will come.
So it's don't pay attention to any physical symptoms.
Ignore it and try to remain focused. That's important. So mind itself keeps creating such illusions also, and also due to the movement of energy also it can happen. So either way, you just continue watching is important, so that you achieve more concentration, more single pointedness.
If the energy moves like that, how does one ground oneself?
So you don't have to. The mind will take care of that grounding. So if the mind is intact and concentrating, it will totally lift the consciousness up to become one mass and get detached from the brain. Then it will totally purify and make it ready to go into merger, samadhi. Otherwise, until then, it comes down. If the mind also runs away, loses its focus, so the energy comes down. It gets grounded, in fact, back. So that is what will happen automatically. This is an automatic process, whereas you simply have to bother that you are able to bring the mind here and hold on to that point.
I was trying to do that. I was just doing just that. Thank you.
So you said that mind was part of consciousness and energy. So one part of my question is, what is the difference between consciousness and energy? And then
You see, here, let me answer this question. Then you go to the next part of it. Pay attention. Conscious means wherever you apply that, you become aware of that existence. Like when you are able to focus your mind on to me when I am talking, that is your consciousness application. And this application is possible because energy is present in the consciousness. They both are together, inseparable. So that is how one acts with the other. Because of the functioning of energy, mind is able to become creative or getting applied. And the same way, because of presence of energy, it can go back to self also.
I see, like two heads of the same, or two sides of a coin.
Yes.
I see. Okay, so when we stop looking, when you said, when we stop looking, you said, we're always looking for happiness. What we're looking for is always really a search for happiness. So when we stop looking, do we automatically arrive at realization? And is realization the same thing as love?
You see, I don't know what you mean generally by taking is automatically arrive. Automatically, without putting effort, it won't happen. Not that you can keep doing anything or you just keep quiet, don't put any effort, automatically self realization happens. It doesn't happen because mind is become habitual to imagining. It has to give up that imagining efforts. Otherwise, the mind draws its own consciousness into its imagination and becomes preoccupied, gets involved with the imagination instead of gaining that awareness of the self. So that's what happens.
And is realization another word for love? Not human love, but divine love.
When you really love, your attention is always on the divine. That's what you will be remembering in your consciousness. So that helps you to merge or become aware of your real self.
This sense of I, if that sense of I disappears, then what is there a sense of? I mean, what takes its place?
The same I is there, it doesn't disappear. Simply a sense of I might disappear, but that substance itself doesn't disappear, it is there. So this I is the nearest to the clue. That's why in spirituality we often, the ancient teachers also have used, and we also keep trying to teach, like the consciousness of existence. That's what will be there. If I is not there, it will be consciousness of existence. You exist. It may not be you, that imagination may not come, but still you exist. You won't disappear. So that's what the truth is.
Okay, I'm gonna have to think about that. I know you say don't think, but I'm gonna think about it anyways. Thanks.
You have to pay attention rather than thinking. Simply you have to pay attention from the mind, by the mind, for the mind, of the mind.
Okay, thank you.
So, Baba, the consciousness of existence that you were just referring to as the I, it's actually kind of the conscious presence or beingness. You know you exist, but there's not so much of a I, a subject and an object. It's just pure. It's more subtle than just I amness. Is that correct? Because
Yes.
so there is a point where you don't disappear, but the I, as the ego, or might have evaporated, but you still know that you exist.
Yes, that's what it stops there of any recognizing in any way, but still it is there.
Yeah, because it would take two to have a recognition of something, and so those two have kind of merged together.
Yeah,
So
that's when many people starts doubting who is that looking for the I and who is this I. Whereas the one who is looking for the I and the I, they both are same.
So that's what happens in meditation is you keep watching, that watcher kind of melts or dissolves into the watched, and they become one.
So the seer doesn't see anything else but the self. It's not any separate object that he has to see.
Beautiful. That's great, Baba. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us, Baba. The best meditations I have are when I meditate in the morning, and they tend to be the strongest. But because of my situation, my work, I can't always do that. And so when I meditate later in the day, for some reason, and I'm not sure why, meditations are are typically not nearly as good. And I have this churning that will happen in my stomach and in my heart. And it's almost painful. I would say it is painful. It's almost like I'm trying to just get out of my skin. And I don't know why that happens. And so I'm wondering if you can tell me what that is and if there's something I can do so that if I have to meditate later in the day, I can have a better meditation.
You see, if you are meditating or trying to meditate by understanding and not forgetting the right technique that the master has taught you, these problems must not occur at all. There could be any other reason, heavy in the stomach, any food or any such thing, or any wind inside that is troubling you, might make you to feel like that is churning. And also, repeatedly we teach, be gentle to yourself. This is the most infinite thing, is the mind. You shall not lose your temper, shall not become irritated, shall not be in a rush, or shall not feel frustrated also. When you feel frustrated, you are likely to lose your temper, control over yourself. And that can make you, when the brain heats up, then these type of experiences can happen. These are connected to the brain. So instead, just watch with all the patience, relax, quiet, and gently close your eye. Love yourself. Just watch here. And the mind runs, just watch it here. If the mind runs, don't get annoyed with the mind. Consider it a small baby. It doesn't know what it's doing. They know not what they are doing. Forgive them. Like that. Just be gentle. Like that. Slowly you practice the patience also. Enormous amount of patience is required. So then skillfully you start paying attention to where it is needed, from the mind and to the mind. Mind paying attention to the mind. Then you will overcome any of these problems. Just sit comfortably in any comfortable posture and try to sit straight. Keep your back and neck straight. And that's it. You have to be relaxed.
Okay, thank you, Baba.
Namaste, Baba. This is my question. Many times I see a different version of this statement. The ultimate truth of the mind is the divine, or the ultimate truth of the mind is God. Now here's where I may turn into a piece of charcoal, but is not the divine and God ultimately an imagination? Because it's my God and it's my divine. Therefore, there's still duality is there. So that's my question. When we say divine, what are we saying really?
As long as you consider that you have a mind, so for sake of communication, understanding and teaching, we use this language as the nearest imagination that the ultimate truth of the mind is recognized as divinity. The mind is also a recognized, that means imagined thing. What exists is silent, that stops there, no definition. It's attributeless. There is neither mind, then only, nor God. When there is neither devotee, then only there is no God. But if there is a devotee, there is a God. So that's how we try to explain for sake of understanding, so that they can further go into meditation. Like some people might ask, what if we want to be devoted to God? In every life we want to come and we want to worship God and we continue remembering God. So it's okay, as long as you want to imagine yourself as the mind, then you can imagine your God. You both exist, and then you can continue. Otherwise, if you want to practice as I recommend. Don't imagine anything about you, then you don't have to imagining anything about God. Just become quiet. Mentally just become quiet. And that's it.
To me, the statement would be more accurate. The ultimate truth of the mind can only be known when the mind comes to a stop. Then the truth of the mind ultimately is known. Otherwise, it's some form of an imagination of the mind. That's what I was thinking.
You see, when the mind merges with the self, there is nothing else to know. Its end finishes.
Namaste. Thank you, Baba.
Something came to my awareness of when I sit in nature. I sit out on the porch every morning, and just being able to make a choice to stop thinking, and there's just silence and watching, and I'm not really thinking that much. The eye is there, of course. I'm not really thinking. There's just more what I would call being, and there's a depth to that being. But then when I sit to meditate, it's harder to get to that place for me. And so, yes, I could meditate more. I know that. I could practice more, but I just can't understand why it's so easy for me when I'm not formally meditating, and I'll just make that choice to be and not to think. And then when I meditate, I know that place, I know that depth, but it's hard for me to stay there. It's hard. The mind comes up. So what's happening there?
It is something like this. The floor is terribly dirty, and you just place a beautiful carpet on it, and you sit there, and you think that, oh, beautiful, now it is so clean. Then suddenly you remember you have to cleanse the floor also and remove the carpet, and that dirt is so frustrating, it doesn't cleanse quickly. It takes time. So that's how once for all cleansing, reaching that state which you get a glimpse when you are sitting there, is through the meditation. So sometimes because of the battle, the enemy also is holding a strong sword, as you are holding a sword. So, and the enemy also is equally skilled in moving the sword. So you have to be skillfully moving the sword, and thus slay the evil of the mind. It will happen one day. To sit. When you sit also for meditation, sit with the same attitude that you are sitting in that balcony or wherever you are sitting there. So just nothing exists. Quietness, simply quietness. But generally, whenever you close the eyes, sit for meditation, it churns the mind. The subconscious state, unknown to you also, any dirt is there below the carpet, it brings up to make it evaporated. So that is slightly difficult situation. It's like having a bitter pill. So you just bear with it. It will be all right. You will experience altogether same peace. It will come back. But put an effort, sit, don't give up meditation.
Is it just the impure mind and habitual thoughts? Is there a fear of the unknown that keeps me from going deeper into myself? Or don't even worry about that, just watch?
Yes, because when you are sitting outside for a while, there is nobody to disturb in the surroundings. Quietly you are sitting to yourself. Then you are depending on that peaceful atmosphere, you are able to achieve that peace within. So you start thinking how beautiful this is, why this thing doesn't come during meditation. When you sit for meditation, there are 6 or 7 terrorists within your mind ready to shoot you. That's what the unknown fear. Let them be standing, they cannot shoot you at all. They cannot do anything, they will disappear. So thus sit for meditation, you will achieve the same peace which you experienced sitting outside.
Baba, can it be beneficial to do that? You know, sometimes when you're outside, you can kind of just watch without thinking, without words.
Yeah, you do that like for half an hour or 1 hour at least, then that becomes a practice. Then that can be very helpful in the meditation.
Hi, Baba. This is kind of a follow-up to what you said to Victoria, so I'm glad Agashta called me next. Normally when I sit in meditation, it's the same all the time, and there's watching or there's thoughts. And today I reached the place of stillness and there were no thoughts, and was there for a little while, and suddenly some things that I guess I knew that I had to work on for this book came through. So I opened a piece of paper, I closed my eyes, and I started typing, and I got all of this stuff that I never would have thought of in my realm, right? I never would have imagined writing those things. So I just let the words come through me. And then when it was done, I stopped and went back into meditation. And unfortunately, that was shorter than I would like. But anyway, what is that coming through at that point? Like, what is that information? Is it the subconscious, like you said to Victoria? Is it higher self? Like, it's nothing I would have thought of, but it's words that I need for this thing that I'm writing. It's deeper explanations than my mind would have come up with. So what is that? And
Long time habits, acquired habits is still there. That gets churned up. So it starts coming up. So that's what happens there. At that time, you need to have patience and don't try to know anything. Don't bother about anything. This tendency, inquisitiveness, what we call it as, in other words, is the troubleshooter actually. So there's nothing you have to know. Then there is nothing to trouble you also. If you want to know something, there is something that will trouble you.
did something help me solve those problems, or was I just open to awareness coming in, or that doesn't matter?
Yeah, when it doesn't matter, only mind becomes quiet. Otherwise, mind wants to know, mind wants to know, mind wants to know, and it imagines that which it wants to know. Then it starts wondering from where is this coming. Just let it come. If it all it is coming also, do not bother from where it is coming. You don't bother, then only your mind will become quiet and quiet. It will give up everything, it will become quiet. After one stage, know that there is nothing to know. Give up that also, and then you are there.
Okay, thank you, Baba. So good to see you. Thank you.
Baba, kind of related to that, you know, a lot of times when you're meditating, you feel like the inner guru starts talking to you, you know, all these profound insights come. You don't necessarily get involved like analyzing them or anything, but they're flowing through the mind instead of the other worldly stuff that you might be involved in. Where is that bubbling up from? Is that just past, like you said, past impressions, or is that inner guru, or both? Or
See, it depends. What is it that's coming? If it is anything connected to the higher knowledge, which we wouldn't have imagined ever, that is spontaneously coming from the ultimate source. That which created a doubt also, it creates a solution also. So, if it is anything connected to this world and intuitions, such type of things, so that is not knowledge. So that's not coming from the ultimate source, but it's an imagination. The previous habits, acquired habits. So this difference is always there.
thank you, Baba, that's perfect.
That was Baba. So good to see you. I have some equipment for a spa that I turn on in my basement, and with my small house, there's a low, steady hum that I hear when I'm in my bedroom meditating. And I have found that listening to that sound really quiets my thoughts and calms my mind. And then I find that I'm focusing one pointedly on the sound, and it seems quite helpful. But then I shift to meditating the way you teach, the Jangama Dhyana, between the eyes, and it almost feels more peaceful or more powerful. Can you talk a little bit about meditating on sound versus sight? And I think that there's a reason why we focus between the eyebrows instead of focusing on a sound, but
Pay attention. When you focus on the sound, you are depending on that sound. For a while it is good, it is helpful for you to achieve concentration of the mind on a particular thing, that is the sound. So then you feel that peace, but mind itself has not become peaceful. This you need to understand. Simply you are depending on the sound, and that sound is very helpful, that sound is enjoyable, that sound has helped you to give focus. Now focusing in between eyebrows, you are not given anything to focus here, no sight. What we ask is concentrate your mind and sight. You have to concentrate the sight, not on any sight. These two are totally different. So this is what is important. Without giving any anchor, no sound and no sight is given. Simply this method, the mind is trying to concentrate on itself, pay attention to itself. Thus, the source of the real ultimate happiness is the mind's ultimate pure consciousness. So when slowly the mind watches and gives up all habits, not to imagine even to know anything, not to imagine to bother about anything, not to imagine that you need something to focus, then you are enjoying. Everything is forgotten. Then the mind becomes purified as the consciousness. Now the consciousness is aware of the consciousness, means it is attentive of itself. So thus you achieve that self-realization eventually. Whereas if you go on practicing, for a while it's no harm. I would recommend that you, if necessary, whenever the mind is restless, you focus on that sound for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Because when you depend on that sound, if for some reason that sound disappears or that spa stops and it doesn't function, then your mind can become miserable because you totally depend on that for your happiness. That's what the difference of Jangama Dhyana's technique. That's why I have told in my teachings also, this Jangama technique is the highest technique practiced in ancient India since time immemorial. So that's what it is. Directly you are giving the mind a practice to become quiet on its own without any anchor. There is no sight to watch. You fix the sight and mind and watch.
thank you so much. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Instead of concentrating on the sound, can we concentrate on the silence?
Anything, you have to find the silence first to concentrate. Like for example, you see, within your mind, if you want to find the silence, that you have to watch the same technique. Or you have to find some silent atmosphere, surroundings, a beautiful scenario is there and it is very harmoniously silent, then you try to focus on that. Again, you have to depend on that all the time. If you miss that one, if you are unable to be there, or if that gets destroyed or something happens, then again it will put you into miserable condition. So that's why it is always recommended you try to be independent always. So then with this technique, One day you will achieve. This is slowly a little bit difficult. So once you understand that you are trying to concentrate, give the mind a practice to concentrate on its own without depending on any anchor.
So the other question I had was when I was sitting in meditation today, all of a sudden, Ganesha's picture appeared in front of my eyes. And I noticed it and I felt a surge of love for Ganesha. And then I had that blowing experience. Now, does this mean anything or one should not give too much importance to it?
Nay, what the meaning could be, status of your mind. Means your devotion towards Ganesha, that concept of Ganesha, divine as Ganesha, is more. So that is the reason. So Ganesha's picture appears to you in front. You just watch that. When you love that one, it will be more helpful for you to focus. When it appeals to you, so then more and more that picture starts appearing. So when you become totally concentrated, so you can use just to focus on that picture.
So not that it'll happen again, but if any other thing happens where the energy is moving through the body, what does one do?
If it continues for some time, then you open your eyes, you remember if you have some vibhuti with you, then you can put in water, a little bit, a pinch, and drink it, or remember God, or just wash your face and then again come back and sit. Remember, pray to God for 2 minutes and then again sit. Then it will be all right.
Babaji, I practice Buddhism, and in my monastery, and your techniques of meditation are similar. They converge of total silence. But other traditions, they talk of pranayama first, then afterwards, or you have to say a mantra. So then how does one reconcile? Can one just do only one path, or when I'm with the other group, I can do something else? Or
one important thing is you can just continue with one path, whatever appeals to you. If the Buddhism path appeals, you just continue. Generally, when you talk to friends, they are normally recommend whatever they are doing. Then it is only a tradition or a recommended thing, not a hard rule.
Yeah.
Some teacher recommends you can do pranayama. They are all preliminary round exercise to focus the practice, the concentration of the mind. Then you abandon the mantra also to go make it silence, to go into silence. That's what it is. It is not a hard rule that you have to do at all. It is simply recommended by your friend. If it appeals, you do, or if you want to continue with your path, you just continue. Nobody will be annoyed.
Yeah, and I find this, that I'm able to go zooming straight into silence. And Babaji, even if I have a long bus journey in a empty bus in New York, I will just close my eyes and focus on the center. Halfway through the ride, is it okay to practice like that? And that is really the test. Can you be have that stillness within you despite all the bustle and the, as you say, all these terrorists around you?
So gradually, as your defense strength increases, you can do it. In the beginning, you might be an underdog. You are trying to overcome all the terrorism. But slowly, determinedly, we practice that, stick to that technique. Even for 5 minutes is possible. It will be helpful. Some amount of mind becomes silent. Then you continue. One day you will see you are the master, and everybody else standing salute you, and you just go on silent.
In between documentation, writing, I will do that for 10 minutes. So is it all right? Just to like gain your strength and power and to charge ahead. 10 minutes to
Yeah, that will be all right. You can do that and then again come back. It's fine. It will be helpful always.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful process, Babaji, these few months that I'm with you, and I cannot thank you enough.
So anyway, it's wonderful. I deeply appreciate everybody's participation and asking some wonderful questions. I'm so happy that you all have enjoyed. Practice this and you will enjoy more. Every moment can be a blissful enjoyment and eventually you will achieve that supreme peace for you all. May you all be blessed by your own inner guru or by your divine or by your real self or whatever you want to imagine, or Babaji if you want to tell.